Hey, what's up y'all? It's your girl Galore, and I am back with another video. Today's video will be a testimony on how God called me to quit my 9-to-5 in corporate America. I haven't really posted a new episode, a new series on my podcast, but this will basically give you a little bit insight and an update, a life update on what I've been experiencing lately. So let's get into it. We'll be doing some skincare today. So I have my steamer, a couple of products. We're gonna start off with a face mask, and then we'll get right into the video. Alright, so quitting my 9-to-5. God called me to quit my 9-to-5. So just a little backstory on, the career I was building with corporate America. I worked for customer service and customer retention with different major companies. And the thought of, I want to say my face is already cleaned. It's cleansed already. We're about to put on a mask. But yes, I wanted to experience being in a company and within management, teaching other reps how to become a customer service or how to become a manager and how to scale with numbers. And I didn't really know metrics and meeting numbers for sales until I got into the retention side of things. But starting off, I really just started working as a form of a way to pay bills. I have to go back, right? Because I feel like this was the time God actually showed me what my purpose was, and I never really took it serious, or maybe I was fearful. Let me say that. It's not that I didn't want to take it serious. I was fearful. I was a little bit in my shell, really shy, not really a public person or wanting to be seen in public, doing like major events or like being on stage in front of thousands and thousands of people. Like when I was back in high school, I hated public speaking. I actually joined drama as an elective. My counselor, she was really cool. She challenged me to different things. I had did all my credits in my curriculum sooner than what was expected. So within my 11th grade year, I was already basically past my class, right, in reference to curriculum. But to spare my time, I joined drama, and that was influenced by my counselor. So I joined drama, even though this was something that I didn't feel good with doing. I just really wanted to make her happy and also challenge myself to something new. But I feel like that was something that I needed to experience to tap into my creative side. But number one thing was me dealing with school, but also trying to get the scripting right for our biggest show that was coming up while going to school, and making sure I get my grades up, keep my grades up, and staying ahead of my class, right? So we got a script to learn, and I got teammates that's depending on me. I got teammates that are in love with drama, but I'm just not there. Like, I'm not, and it's more so of a afraid to be seen thing for me, and not more so of me actually getting the task done, but just really being afraid to be seen. So we have to study the script. The show is in about, I would say, 2 weeks. So throughout the throughout the time of me supposed to be studying the script and actually getting into like my character, I forgot what the storyline was about, but I had to study a script and I had to talk a lot. So that was another fear. I hated public speaking, but this script and this storyline, I had to talk a lot. 2 weeks in, we have to do this play, and I would say probably a week before the actual play, I actually never went back. I then transferred and went into art, which I really liked, but later on down the line, I joined this group in high school, and I enjoyed it. I was still scared, but it wasn't dependent on me having to say a script, remember a script, and I just didn't want to let my teammates down in drama, and I didn't want to be the reason of why the play didn't go the way it needed to. So I never went back. But I did do other things to try to get myself out of my shell with not wanting to be seen. And yeah, so that's the backstory of high school. Now within high school, I'm going to college, and I just want a job that's gonna allow me to pay my bills, something that's stable, and something that's that'll like meet my lifestyle and my needs at that time. I would say first going into customer service, I didn't really like it. It was just something I was doing to again pay bills, and that's where I left it at. I started to care about it more the more I had experience with customer service, and I went into customer retention. Now, the difference between customer service and customer retention is customer service is just customer service. Like, you speak to the customer, you handling basic customer needs. Customer retention is a customer wants to cancel for any reason, they're irate, and they're ready to go. The company, for whatever reason, maybe a bad review, it may be a bad experience, maybe they was receiving a discount for something and they stopped receiving it. But yeah, so that's what I was doing, right? Retention got very stressful for me because it was just too much. It was just too much of stress with meeting metrics and meeting the numbers that I wasn't really used to. So it was very stressful. With retention, it just made me like start to, as the years went by and as I gained more experience, it just made me hate customers. It just made me hate call center, customer service, all in one. So retention actually started to make me hate customer service in general, because it just was so intense with metrics and meeting numbers that I just started to hate. I just started to hate just coming to work. This last company here in Kissimmee is just, I could just feel the presence of the work, the strategies, the managers that work there, and it just wasn't my flow. It just wasn't my flow. And nothing against those people, but I didn't like the way that they did business and how they spoke to the representatives and how they made us feel about the work we did. Like, it just wasn't an enjoyable workplace to go to. But if y'all been here for a little minute, y'all would see the actual video I did a year from now saying that I quit another retention job. Actually a year from around today's date. I was trying to fit into a place where I wanted to be, only to be able to take care of bills. And at some point I just realized that it wasn't for me, right? I would constantly dread going to work Monday through Friday. I didn't feel fulfilled. I just didn't feel like this is what God was calling me to. This was the purpose of my life. And the more I sat in that box cubicle, I just I just felt like life was like draining away from me. Like I did not feel any sense of passion. It was more draining than anything, having to argue with customers every day, having to calm customers down, take ownership about things that wasn't your fault or you didn't have any involvement in the first place. Just a lot of stress. So on top of needing to meet numbers, meet metrics, you got the customers that are irate, you got a team or management that's not as supportive, and you're basically expected to do everything. On top of my manager trying to give me more work to do, on top of the stress that I already have to deal with in regards to like numbers. So it just wasn't for me. And I realized that the realization came into play when I realized that I was missing more days and it was affecting my numbers. Also, not only that, when I would vacation or I would take time off, literally, y'all, I would feel so relieved. So much pressure would be off my shoulders. I would really feel like I'm living life, even if it was a simple train ride to Miami or it was a holiday road trip. Whatever it was, I just felt more full of life. Like I felt more full of life. And if I had to be honest, because of some things that has happened in my past, I would say working made me feel like I was curing a trauma response, in reference to like always having control and always wanting stability, always wanting a paycheck and money coming in to make me feel safe. But I had to come to the realization that I could either sit here for my life, rest of my life. I've seen people working in customer experience and customer service that was like 35, 40, and I just, no shame to them. Like I'm not judging them, but I know personally that's not where I wanted to be at the age of 30. That's not where I wanted to be at the age of 35, 45, 55, working 40 plus hours a week. I just know that wasn't a calling that God had on my life. Having to only have a 15-minute break, a 30-minute lunch, coming back to the stress every day of the week, a supportive team. It just dawned on me like, Travia, it just dawned on me like, this is not where you want to be. This does not fulfill you. You could stay here and continue to live to just pay bills, or you could do something you're passionate about. And YouTube content creation is something I'm really passionate about. I'm not a public speaker. That's not something, I don't like being in front of a lot of people, but for the sole purpose of helping someone out, I would. That's actually a fear that I'm actually getting over, because YouTube, you're in front of thousands and thousands and thousands of people, thousands and thousands and thousands of people that are watching your videos, and I just want to empower and I want to help people in a different way, right? So way before things started to go bad at the job, God was already calling me off the job. Probably we're in December, right? God was calling me off this job. I would say May. Yeah, May. God was calling me off this job in May. And I was so scared. I was so fearful of like leaving, because I did not know what to expect. I did not know what would be on the other side of this. And I was so fearful of change. Like, I know what God was calling me to, and a part of me not leaving was still trying to understand what was God calling me to. I thought God was calling me to something different, but content creation is actually where he wants me. But yeah, I was afraid to leave simply because of that, and then also not knowing the unknown, like not knowing where things will go from here, how my bills are going to get paid, how I don't have the help in the content creation space. So a lot of that was on my mind when it came to like me deciding what I wanted to do. Even though I know that I was uncomfortable at the job, that was more so of where my head was. So he was calling me and I didn't leave, and I feel like God will make a space very uncomfortable for you. If he know that that's not where he wants you, and you're settling and you're just staying comfortable because it feels good. I just felt the pressure getting tighter and tighter and tighter. Manager started to act really, really weird towards me. I was very closed off and distanced from my team members. I just was going to work casually every day without any purpose, feeling so drained, feeling so depleted. Like I just wasn't happy. When I realized that I really had to leave, and that I can't be control of the new space or the new area that God is calling me into, it just dawned on me that if I stay here, I probably would be spending a lot of my time here and a lot of birthdays here, and I just wasn't comfortable with doing that for the rest of my life. So the uncomfortableness settled in really quickly. I realized that May, June, July, I was just passing by. I was just doing what I needed to do to get by. August, September, same thing. October, the uncomfortableness, the realness of everything started to settle in. I would pray for confirmation if this is what God really wanted for me, and ask for multiple signs even after God had gave me a sign. But I still would like stay, you know, I still would stay because money, because bills, because again, being afraid of the unknown and what could come out of that. But child, God made it clear with the environment and the way things were at that point. There was just time for me to go. Another thing I realized with customer service, and God will give you what you pray for, right? God will bless you what you pray for, but he will only do it to let you see that you wanted this, but this is not for you, right? For you to have to come back to him and actually pray and seek an understanding of what his will and his calling is for, right? So that's what he was doing. He was basically through the job and the pressure of the job, me being uncomfortable, having me lean more into him to redirect me on what it was that he wanted for me, right? So y'all, October, okay, I was always hitting numbers, right? I started working up here in February. And it took me about a month and a half to really get the system, really get protocol, really get, you know, their ways of like doing strategic planning. But I would say February, March, April, May through October, my numbers were better than the people that worked there that they would consider 10-year agents, right? My numbers was really good. They actually, my numbers were really good, right? I was hitting major sales. Like I was doing the thing, right? But in my heart and in my mind, I wanted to really open up my boutique, give me extra areas of income where I could be stable instead of depending on my a 9 to 5 to do it for me. So right, October 15th, I launched my first collection with Galore Signatures, my boutique, and it didn't do so well, right? I was so busy at the job that I wasn't able to strategically plan and build for my business. So it didn't really go well. I was really drained, really depressed, really just out of it. When I get home, I just want to take a shower, go to bed. I actually stopped working out as much as I loved working out. I just stopped working out. A lot of it just was like a drag. Like, I just felt so unfulfilled, and I just wasn't me, right? And a part of that is God, like, making you realize that you're uncomfortable and this is just not where he wants you, and this is not where you're supposed to be. So I started to build an escape plan, and that's where Galore Signatures Boutique came into play. And I actually, before I was going to give in my 2 weeks, I actually started being more consistent on YouTube this year. So that was another way I was like trying to be consistent and disciplined to build revenue outside of this 9 to 5. Building my boutique, being consistent on YouTube, and pushing out content that's inspiring, that's motivating, beauty, lifestyle, fashion, and like really, really strategically planning and putting together content ideas to actually get me out of the feeling that I was feeling about this job. Like, I was really trying everything to still work there, but still run my business and still do content creation. But I realized quickly that that was something I couldn't do. The job wasn't purpose driven. The job was not something God really called me to. It was more so of me letting go of the idol of money. Right? I feel like that's the lesson God was teaching me there, because it's not that I didn't have, right? Because I live a decent life. I have a roof over my head. I have a car to drive. I have food to eat. Like, I live a decent life. I love my space. But it was more so of God testing my faith and seeing if I would put the job and the money and the worries over him, versus just leaving the job like he told me to and trusting in his plan and his will for my life, right? So now we're going into the escape plan. I'm about to put in my 2 weeks notice, and this is where things really get tough. Alright, y'all, so the mask is off and we're getting ready to apply a purifying deep cleanser facial mask. Now we're working on an escape plan, right? We're working to do what God called us to do, and without thinking about it, right? Okay, so I had the boutique. I was consistent on YouTube and just creating a way for an escape plan, right? There was a couple of distractions that came into play with this, and I feel like it was more so of still God working on testing my heart and how I respond to certain tests that he was giving me. So as I said, I was making more sales and more money than the 10-year people that they would consider been at the company a little bit longer. I was making more money than them. I was hitting sales. My first sale was probably, my first month sales probably had to be 50K. So my numbers is really holding up my whole team. Second month, it just continued to increase. The max I've made these people each within the month of October was 90K, and this is just me as one rep, right? So I'm thinking in my head, like, dang, if I could come to this job, make the company the money, this type of money, and I'm not happy, right? Like, of course somebody else is, right? Of course somebody else is happy. Of course somebody else is benefiting off of the money I'm making in this company, but I am just not happy. This is what I'm telling myself as I'm preparing myself to leave. I'm like, this is just ridiculous. I know this is not the life God wants for me, and I'm of course happy to do the work, but not to where it costs me my happiness, right? So $90K is what I made them, and y'all will not believe I did not receive any money from the sales I made throughout the course of me working for this company. Nor did we receive any commission from the sales we made. It helped me understand the company morals and what they value within the business, because if your agents are coming to do the work, they're taking care of you by being in attendance, they're meeting the numbers, they're meeting the goals, I feel like they should receive some kind of reward, right? And here is why I say God will start to make you feel uncomfortable in places that you're not. When God say your time has expired somewhere, it literally has expired, and you will start to feel very uncomfortable by the things that are taking place. You'll start to notice things that you've never noticed before, like small things, small details, and that's basically what's going on. I'm just digging more into like the company and how they go about certain things to see, like, if you know, like, if this is something, the decision I'm making is actually right. Now, on top of me making the money and not receiving any part of that commission, they're about to merge with another company in January. My ideal month to leave before all this started to take place was January, because that's just the day I was ready to like start the new year off, was like I was ready to start the new year off with committing myself to creating content. And yeah, that's where my headspace was, like, new year, new confidence, and starting something new, and just that's what I wanted to do. Girl, then we heard news that they're about to merge with another company, and usually in customer experience or customer service, when a company merges with another company, that means the company that I currently work for, now everything is about to change. All the policies are about to change. Things are just not going to be the same. And yeah, no. So my plan was already to leave in January, but with the news, I was like, yeah, I definitely gotta go. The harder I worked, the more tasks they gave me. And I saw this quote, which actually helped me with making a decision. You could get up and allow yourself to work to build somebody else's dream life, or you could be disciplined, stay consistent, and build your own dream life. And that resonated with me so much. The distraction out of this, right? When you are getting ready to turn to something God called you to, there's always going to be a distraction. There's always going to be something that make you feel like you're about to make the wrong decision. And for me, that was they were getting ready to promote me, right? So the devil, just as well as God know your heart, the devil could hear. The devil will know your cries too, right? So they were getting ready to promote me to a higher position. As I stated earlier in the video, my main goal with working in the customer experience or the customer service field was to gain experience to eventually be a manager or like a board member of the company, right? They were providing me a promotion, and they were basically saying that because my sales were so good, they were getting ready to promote me to this position that will basically set me on a road to where I wanted to be for my initial goals, right? child, I still wasn't budging. I'm like, I'm just gonna wait till January. Girl, January never came because the pressure just got high. Besides the promotion, I had already set it in my heart that it was time for me to go. The thing about it is though, the company also knew, like my managers also knew that I was opening a business. They knew when my store opened, and they actually supported me, you know. So the devil is very crafty. He will do anything to make you feel like your decision making and what you're getting ready to do is not right. But I wasn't hearing it, y'all. Like, I was just ready to go, right? So distractions settle in, and now I'm second guessing myself. I'm like, God, is this something that you really want me to do? I'm about to get a promotion. Really side-eyeing the fact that I made these people over $90K this year. But I was so happy for the support, because as I said to y'all when I first dropped my boutique, because I didn't have the time to just strategically build on my boutique. I have really nice things, really nice product for my boutique, but I didn't have enough time. But the support from them made me feel, you know, so loved and like appreciated, that I was ready to settle. And they started purchasing for my business, giving me some support. They were planning a launch for me at the job in December. So I was getting ready to order a couple of things for my vendor to like meet the demand of the sale, but God is still pulling on my heart to leave. So I'm like, okay, God. I prayed to God for a specific prayer, for like a sign to confirm that he wanted me to leave, right? So I prayed this prayer. Literally 24 to 40 hours later, God showed me the confirmation. And y'all, I'm in shambles, because now I have to decide between going into this unknown space where I don't have control, where I don't know where the stability and the money is going to come from, and I no longer have this stable income of knowing I'm going to get this paycheck every 2 weeks. No. Versus being supported, you know. And the devil knew, just like God know, the devil know what it is that you admire, what it is that you want out of life. And this is why he will provide you with the counterfeit, before a counterfeit will come to you before the real thing manifests itself. So I received the confirmation, right? And the main reason I was staying at the job was two things, right? I was staying because the management was different than what I could ever experience, because I was initially doing customer service in Miami, Florida, but then I came to Kissimmee, which is a different space, a different atmosphere, and the management was really different, and I would say better, even though the environment was really messy. Their way of strategic planning and like the way they work through getting things done for their customers, I really admire, right? Because of course I'm a business owner, somebody that's walking into entrepreneurship. I wanted all of the learning I could get to be able to push the same strategies and strategic planning within my business, right? Girl, I had this call. So the time it was for me putting my 2-week notice was the more pressure that came upon me. Okay, so everyone would leave at 9 p.m. but I will be the only one to get a call at exactly 9. We couldn't leave until the queue was closed at 9. But I would be the only one there after 9 p.m. taking a call, right? It was this one night. It wasn't 9, it was like 8:45, and my manager is closing for the night. This lady was really upset about an experience that she had at the hotel, and how she was saying things weren't told to her properly, and she traveled 13 hours to this hotel, and now she doesn't qualify for the timeshare, and you know, she has nowhere to go, right? So I mentioned earlier in the video how the managers are and how they would push their work on us. So this is the time I really needed my manager to come through. Like, I literally needed him to come through. I needed him to help me out with this, and I was dependent on him. Y'all, he took that time to play in my face. Like, imagine the pressure I'm under on a call with the customer, trying to help her out in this space, and I'm after 30 minutes of being on the phone with this customer, trying to redirect policy and really trying to help her out the best way I can without compromising the business. He taps into the call, and before he said to give the customer the full refund due to her circumstance, child, then he went to give her a partial refund, knowing that it'll make her way more upset. Then he said, don't give her a refund at all, just give her one night to stay at the hotel and let her find her own accommodations, right? And in my head, I'm like, no, I can't, you know, I can't not have her have a place to go. She said she traveled 13 hours away to this timeshare, and I knew that that wasn't something I wanted to do. So he got on the phone, and when a manager taps into a line, only me and the manager could hear each other. The customer can't. So while the customer is talking, he's like laughing like a hee. And I'm trying to help this customer. So it's 8:45. I want to leave, but I really want to help her, right? He's taking this as a playful moment. He's not taking it serious. He's like only, so after an hour of being on the line with this customer, only refund her $100 and, you know, have her go about her way. This call is very pressurous, but just to sum that up, I end up having to refund her the whole thing, right? After hours of being on the phone with this customer, I probably was on the phone with her for about 2 hours, y'all. No lie. And after being on the phone with this customer for so long, we disconnect the line. He reaches out to me through Teams. Good job. And, you know, very, very messy. My manager was gay, right? And I have nothing against gays. My sister is gay. And I love gay people. I love how open they are. I love, you know, that they don't really care about how others think about them. They're going to live their life, and they're going to live it to the best of their ability. I love that, right? But he was just very messy. And he texted me through chat like, hey, good job. You handled that call well. So I called him over because as a manager, I'm expecting for you to give me a resolution. Since y'all enforce first call resolution, I'm expecting for you to give me a resolution, but you weren't giving me that. You were doing a lot of back and forth. You were challenging me in different ways to try to like make the customer more upset so she could yell at me. Like, you weren't being a manager at that time. And at the time that I needed you, I would take on ownership for a lot of things. Agents would mess up. It just wasn't organized enough for me. They didn't appreciate their agents as much as they were supposed to. And, you know, it just wasn't giving, right? So at this point, I call him over. I'm like, hey, I expected you to be there for me on this call. I expected for you to give me a resolution for this guest and, like, you know, get her on her way. But I feel like you were being messy. Like, you were intentionally doing things to provoke the customer so she could be irate with me, right? he's like, I did what's best for the company, and that could change within itself throughout what the guest is saying on the phone, da da da, blah blah squazy, right? So I have to use the restroom, and before I get up from him answering the first question, or from him answering the first remark, then I say something that asked him this. I asked him, I was like, do you like when a customer is irate? Like, do you like seeing me in a space where I'm uncomfortable? And do you provoke that environment on the calls for me? And he was like, no, I wouldn't say I provoke that for you, but I like to challenge you to see what ways you're gonna handle the situation, and da da da, blah blah the third, right? So I'm like, okay, I left it, right? Pushing a lot of things back, like really not standing on my boundaries and my morals, because again, the main thing is I want control. I want to be able to know the check I'm receiving every 2 weeks. Yeah, so I get up to walk away to go to the restroom, and y'all, he says, yeah, I like seeing you under pressure. And then he say, he. Y'all, so I'm about to turn in to go to the bathroom. I walk right back around that corner. I say, you like what? He's like, I actually do like seeing you under pressure. And I'm like, why? And he's like, oh, seeing you under pressure since you're going into this new level and this new promotion will better help you with conflict and resolution and da 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 and the third. And I'm like, this is not genuine. He really has something out for me, and it's just weird, it's crazy. So I'm like, okay. The next day, challenging myself if I should say something to HR about this comment, because I'm like, I'm already getting ready to go. I already probably had another situation with another manager that I had to like complain about, and they never really handled it. They just covered it up in a way where I thought they were gonna do something about it, but they didn't. And you know, I just didn't want to go through that again, right? Speaking out and telling them how I feel, but really no resolution for what's going on. I didn't want to experience that again. So I'm like challenging myself on debating on if I want to say something to HR about what happened a couple nights ago. So now I'm really closed off, like not no good morning, none of that. Like, I'm at my desk, I'm doing my job, and I'm going, right? I didn't go to HR, but I did bring it up to the head manager of the department. I text her in chat. Basically, she was very condescending, pushing off my actual feelings about the comment, and going back to saying that with her knowing him, she believed his intentions was to challenge me to what I would experience within this new position, da da da, that and the third, right? They then call a meeting. I've been debating about this for months and months and months and months and months. And right now, I know what God has called me to do. And I've been debating between doing what God called me to do or satisfying my own flesh. The debate has been about staying at my 9 to 5, even though God called me to leave. God clearly made it clear that if I don't walk in obedience, then I'll be sacrificing a lot. And people always say, obedience is better than sacrifice. I've done it my way for years and years and years and years to come. I've had people tell me I can't make it without the 9 to 5. I'll be evicted.
But honestly, I'm already at my lowest because I haven't been listening. It's even more scarier because I moved to Kissimmee, 3 hours away from my family. And I was so scared of the unknown. What's on the other side of this? Corporate life. But honestly, I know it's bigger than me. This calling is bigger than me. This calling is bigger than me, and I don't know everything about business. I don't know everything about what God is calling me to. But I know God will use the broken to heal others. Like, that's when God worked the best. And I'm forgetting it what everybody say because God has shown me time and time again that He would never leave me or forsake me. So I'm just being organic right now, and I'm just being truthful. It's hard, but I've been struggling on a decision and struggling on settling. I can't anymore. I can't any longer. I know I'm worth more than just sitting at a desk honoring somebody else's dreams and just letting mine go. I'm tired of fighting for others and not seeing the same thing in return for me and the paycheck. It's just like I'm tired. And only I know how tired I can be. I'm sorry, y'all. God is bigger than a job, I have to tell you. If I ever post this, then God is bigger than a job. God is bigger than rent. God is bigger than a light payment. God is bigger than a condo. God is bigger than those credit card bills. Trust Him. And I could speak from experience because now I have to. I have no choice but to let God work and see Him move in a miraculous way, in a supernatural way that I've never seen. I always attest to people, have faith, have courage, believe in God. But I personally never did it myself. So how can I preach it to someone if I've never did it myself? I woke up this morning, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm ready. I'm ready to be on the other side of this. I'm ready to let it go. And let God have His way. So I'm saying this, I'm documenting this, that I'm surrendering today.
Alright. So the meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, right? I addressed the head manager Monday about the situation. The comment was made Thursday of the last week. So after chatting with her on Teams, she came to the conclusion that she was going to call a meeting, and outside of the statement, she pushed my attendance, right? Where I was with my attendance and what I needed to do to improve my attendance. A company only wants you in their space because you benefit them for the time being, right? If you stop benefiting them, if you stop coming, if you stop doing what they ask you to do, they're going to find and replace you quicker than they are going to find someone to replace you like a heartbeat. So she went into my attendance, which I didn't really care too much about because I'm like, this has nothing to do with my attendance. But because, of course, I'm bringing up something that your manager did incorrectly, you're going to involve something else to try to place this conversation in another space. So she called the meeting Monday. My manager didn't come in because he's usually off on Mondays. But Tuesday, he's there. I walk in Tuesday, and I'm not even queued, right? Queued mean that you have calls transferring into your queue that you could take to be able to like help the guest, right? I noticed that I'm not receiving any calls, so before I could receive a call, or when I did receive a call, the call immediately ended. And the head manager walks over to the bathroom that's behind me. But then my actual manager walks to me. He's like, hey, can we have a little chat? So I'm like, okay. So I get up, and I already know because God has already provided me confirmation. The events that happened throughout the course of me working here and up to this meeting, that this was my perfect time to actually express some things before I actually go, right? So in the meeting, I'm expecting for her to give sympathy. I'm expecting for her to, you know, correct the manager on what he said, since we are all supposed to be doing this in the effort of teamwork. But no. Just to give y'all a short understanding of how this meeting went, the meeting was all to put pressure on me, basically intimidate me more, and like make me feel less than. And she said this comment after going over what he said. She said, it's like we're on a bus and you're making this statement bigger than what it's supposed to be, and we're riding this bus, right? It's either you're gonna stay on the bus and let this comment be behind you, or you're gonna get off the bus. And or you're gonna get off the bus and, you know, we'll go our separate way, right? So I'm like, okay. I sat there for a little while in quietness, waiting to hear from God, and it was confirmed that I needed to just let them know I will no longer be a part of the company. And I thank them for all that they've taught me and, you know, the experiences I've had with them. But it was just time for me to leave. I did not like the way she was talking to me. I did not like the way she went over the comment that was said. So I just politely told her that this will be the end of my career here at this company. And yeah, I walked out. I got my stuff and I walked out. So I know there's people out there experiencing what I've experienced, and I know that I'm not the only one that's dealt with disrespect, that's dealt with tiredness and meeting expectations for a company that do not respect you, that do not value you, and you don't really see yourself having a future at this space. This is a sign. Okay, I want y'all to know that this is a sign from God, because I actually didn't want to share this story, but God really laid it on my heart to do so. So if you are a chosen one, if you are someone that see yourself outside of that cubicle, outside of that 9 to 5, and you have a plan, and you know God has been calling you to a different space, but you haven't been listening, yes, I know the unknown is scary, right? But would you prefer staying at a job that does not value you, receiving a set income for the rest of your life? Because statistically, the longer you stay at a job, the less, even within careers, the longer you stay at a job, the more they would not give you an increase, and they will more so pay the people that they're hiring that's new an increase. And you'll be sitting there letting your life pass you away, and because you're worried about money, when God is the number one provider of your life, and he has control over everything, even that job. But the fact that he gives you grace and a decision to make is just, I just love that about God, that he has so much grace and that he's so faithful. in that he gives us a chance to make a choice, right? And you have a choice to make. You have a choice to make on if you're gonna give this company the rest of your life and you build someone else's dreams, or you're gonna take the leap of faith and build your own. You have that choice. But I'm telling you, I'm here in the unknown, and I'm walking by faith and not by sight, because the devil will test you and challenge you to make sure that, you know, just that's what he does. He tests and he tries to detour your mind into thinking all the things that can go wrong when that has nothing to do with God and his plan. This is your sign to take charge and do the thing you're scared to do, and God will provide through your skill sets, your talents, and, you know, trust in him. Trust that if he got you out of the situations he got you through in the past, that he will get you through this. And lean on into him, pray to him, let him know your true feelings, how you truly feel, so he could work with the pain and that trauma and heal you to be the best version of yourself that you could be for your calling. I hope this video resonated with someone, and if it did, I ask that you like, comments how you feel about this video, if you're experiencing a time like this, and if you need motivation, if you need guidance, if you need support, y'all can hit me in my email or my DM on IG, and I'll be happy to give you words of encouragement. If you need anything, I'm here to help. I'm here to give advice. I'm here to support you. In order to support me and in order to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel, like the video so YouTube could push this video in the algorithm. And I believe that's it. I hope y'all like my skincare routine, and my face is glowing. So I will see y'all in the next video. I will be entering clips throughout the video to give y'all more real-time recordings of how I felt throughout this transition, and maybe you could resonate with those videos more. But yes, I will be entering clips into the video, and this is a series. So this series will be basically me taking y'all with me throughout this journey. This is a way that we can like connect in a different way. So I'll be sharing a second episode once I start getting into, you know, a routine of content creation, and, you know, just really stepping into what God called me to. And I don't mind helping. I love helping others. I love y'all. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for staying this long and watching a video this long. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one.